As some people have pointed out, there's that fine line between persuasion and manipulation. I always call persuasion using your powers for good and evil, or using your powers for good or evil. We've already talked about Monroe's motivated sequence. So those 5 steps we take when we're constructing an argument to persuade someone or a group of people to do something: attention, need, satisfaction, visualization, and action. We've talked about the most popular organizational structure, problem solution, where you're showing the existence and seriousness of a problem and then showing the solution. Now another piece of that persuasion puzzle is something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we think of this as being a triangle with the most basic of the need on the bottom of the triangle of the pyramid, and at the top of that is the top need. And these are the needs. At the bottom is physical or physiological. The second one up that pyramid is security or safety. The next one is social belongingness. The next one is esteem. And then that top one is what's called self-actualization. And we'll go through all of these, and of course we'll have examples. So that very basic need we have as a human, and every human has these needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is not an exception. Nobody is an exception. So that very bottom need, at that bottom of that triangle, that pyramid, is physical needs. We all have to have food. We all have to have water. We have to have some type of shelter over our heads. And we have to have some type of clothing to protect ourselves from the elements. This does not take into account, the difference between regular water, from a tap, or LaCroix. They're both water. We need one of these. We need water. But a physical need is, I need to have my LaCroix. You need water. It doesn't have to be LaCroix. The next thing on that pyramid of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is security and safety. This is the need we all have as humans to be protected, to be secure, that there's not a threat to our well-being. How we define this could be different. For a lot of us, right, it's when we go to sleep at night, we want to know that we are secure and safe within wherever it is that we are sleeping. In advertising, you would have this tapped into if you have a company that's trying to sell you a burglar alarm, and they're saying if you watch out, you're going to be a victim of a burglary, you're going to be a victim of a crime unless you buy our alarm system. They're tapping into that need we have to be secure, to be safe. The third thing on that pyramid is social belongingness. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert. It doesn't matter if you're an extrovert. We all want some type of connection with people. We want acceptance. We want lasting and meaningful relationships. If you're sitting in a classroom and you're having those great conversations you do with each other, you're building on that need for social belongingness. Maybe people drain you. You still seek some type of family unit, some type of group, something that helps you find those lasting and meaningful relationships, something that makes you feel accepted. Something simple like social belongingness can be tapped into if someone says, hey, everyone's drinking LaCroix, you should too, it's a lot of fun. Join us. So tapping into that, you'll be one of us if you drink this drink. I should have this sponsored by LaCroix, apparently. This is called using the visual aids you have at hand. Esteem. Esteem is another need we all have. It's that idea of feeling good about ourselves. It's that idea of having self-worth. This is not self-esteem. This is not that idea of being mindful and being accepting of ourselves, no matter what our potential faults are, about feeling good in any particular situation. No, esteem is that need of stepping out from a particular crowd and doing something special. Standing out because you have done an excellent job on a class presentation and your instructor says, "Hey, we recorded this. I would love to show this to other students in future classes or current classes. May I show them this?" That's tapping into your need for esteem so that you'll say, "Well, yeah, I would love to. I know, and I'm telling you how wonderful it is." And so you're saying, "Yes, please show this to other people. Thank you." I'm trying to persuade you to use that by tapping into your need for esteem. There's nothing inherently wrong with that I'm persuading you for that. You know, the powers of good and evil. You're really great at public speaking. Would you like to come over and persuade a group of people to, break into a warehouse filled with LaCroix? So you're really good at public speaking. I think you'd be great at giving this presentation to persuade people to break into a building and will still sell LaCroix. That's tapping into your need of feeling special, of your self-worth, of you feeling good about yourself, to use that for nefarious reasons. So again, not self-esteem, not how good you feel on a daily basis about, yeah, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and people like me. No, this is our need for us to step outside of a crowd. You win an award. Again, I ask if I can use your presentation to show others. No, that's the esteem that I'm talking about. So the final need at the top of that pyramid is self-actualization. This is the need where we want to give back to others. We feel like we've achieved some type of goal, we've reached some type of highest potential we have, and we want to give back. By far and away, this is the most common need that you will see nonprofits tap into when they are soliciting money or soliciting for volunteers, especially during the holidays, the holidays in December. You are comfortable at home, you have enough, help us provide the barest minimum to those who don't have what you have. So that, because that taps into our need for self-actualization. Again, powers of good and evil. There's nothing inherently bad about that particular persuasion, right? An organization more than likely really and truly wants to be able to help people in need. And so they're asking for money or they're asking for volunteers. I gave that example earlier about, tapping into a need for esteem and having people come give a presentation to persuade people to break into a warehouse. You have everything you need. Why don't you come over and help us break into this warehouse to give back to those in need? So yeah, you could tap into the need for self-actualization and ask people to be doing something that is inappropriate or goes against someone's set of morals or values. Again, powers of good and evil. The triangle, right? The physical needs at the bottom of that pyramid, at the bottom of that triangle, and then at the top of that is self-actualization. Physical, security, social belongingness, esteem, self-actualization. Those are the needs within Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all have them. It doesn't matter who you are. Maybe you don't need to have as strong of social belongingness. Like that need maybe not be your strongest, but maybe security, safety is. And a lot of times this will depend on where you are in life, right? Sometimes at certain points in our life, we're way more concerned about our physical needs. do we have enough money for our next meal? Uh, are you secure and safe in the home you are in right now when you go to sleep at night? And then maybe 5 years from now, that's different. And so it depends on, for a lot of us, for everybody, where they are in life. So you can, yes, you can be self-actualized. You can easily tap into that or have that need tapped into in you, regardless of where you are, physically or in terms of your security or safety. So, we already mentioned when it comes to advertising, there's a need that a company, that a person is tapping into to sell you something. So, something like this Old Spice ad, smell like a man. So, smell special, right? So maybe you're tapping into esteem, step out of that pack and smell even more amazing. Or, smell good so that you don't, you don't stand out for the wrong reasons. So that's social belongingness. Beauty products will do this, right? Either have the beautiful hair like your neighbors or have the beautiful hair that stands out from your neighbors. A lot of times when we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we're talking about powers of good and evil, people like Adolf Hitler will come up in the conversation. Because if you're able to tap into the needs of a particular group of people and convince them, that maybe their physical needs are not being met, that they're security and safety, being able to tap into esteem, to social belongingness, to self-actualization, you can persuade people to do unfortunate things, to turn against neighbors, etc. So that is one of the most common examples that every semester a student says, this really sounds like something that Hitler was able to do with the population. Yes. Other things that come up in classes are cults. And not too long ago, actually, somebody in a class, we were talking about a different topic. Actually, we were talking about group communication and the concept of groupthink. And somebody mentioned something about cults. This sounds like a cult. Yes, it does. Same concept. This is Jim Jones, who unfortunately is responsible for the now used phrase drinking the Kool-Aid. Jim Jones was able to gather together people, move them to a country called Guyana, and then convince them that they were the one and only group, and therefore, in order to save themselves and their souls, everybody needed to consume this poisoned beverage. And so more than 900 people did that. About a third of them were children, and more than 900 people died. So that's the People's Temple, Jim Jones. So yes, you convince people, you persuade people, you manipulate them to engage in nefarious deeds. And so again, persuasion and manipulation, powers of good and evil. I really hate to finish this presentation on such an unfortunate example, but again, powers of good and evil, when you know how to use Monroe's motivated sequence, when you know the organizational structure, and then when you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you make the choices then of how are you going to use these powers to communicate effectively. We still have to talk about persuasive appeals, and we're still going to talk about research and evidence, but you have 3 huge pieces now when it comes to persuasion that you were able to better use your powers for good and hopefully not for evil. Thank you.